Hi everyone. I am so, 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 so excited to be here today. I may look like I'm about to go to bed, and that's because I am. Today we have headphones on so I can hear. They're old headphones. They're all that I could find in my parents' house because, again, we are here for quarantine. I'm going today to be doing just wood triggers. I have 4. We're going to rate them because I haven't really tested them out. I kind of rubbed on them a little bit, but they were just the closest things by me in the house, and I thought they sounded good. So I would like to hear them on the microphone, and then from there we can rate them, and we can chat a little bit. Does that sound good? Okay. Sounds good. So let me grab the first trigger. So this is the first trigger. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 paint sticks. I think they're called paint sticks. But they sound very nice together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyways, do you like scratching? My hair is just in a bun right now. I love the sound of wood, isn't it so nice? Let's get 2 and rub them together. I think that'll sound really nice. So, it's weird where the world is at right now. Like I was saying, in 2008, we went through a lot. And I know my dad's business didn't do too well. And I think I was lucky enough to be old enough to understand how bad it was. And how lucky we were to still have a house. And we didn't have to move. So I think that puts me in the headspace of everything that's going on with COVID-19. Everything that's going on with COVID-19. I think we've been through something similar in the U.S. as far as people losing jobs. And thankfully, I don't have to worry about my health, but I'm living with my mom. This has nothing to do with that comparison to 2008. So I think what I was saying before about that is I think my family and myself, and as an older millennial, that we have been through something similar as far as the economy goes. But as far as health-wise, as far as I know, I'm not immunocompromised, and I know it's really hard for people who are, so I'm trying to be respectful and stay inside. But also, my parents are a little, not older, they're just in the age bracket where it jumps up a lot, the mortality rate. So I think in that's different, and I totally understand people who are worried about their health and how hard it is for them, especially those that are essential workers and have to work. have to go into work. I still have to work, and I have operators that are still working. But for me, let's tap. For me, I don't have to actually go to my office, but that's mostly because we're protecting those operators from not getting sick, because we need them, because they're essential. And there's only 4 of them. That's a whole other story. Maybe we'll talk about my job one day. So I like to do these like casual chatting type videos, but we don't have to. Just let me know what you want. We'll try it out. Next. Okay, wait. I guess I won't rate that one yet. We'll hear the other ones and then we'll put them in order. So we have our paint sticks that we just did. Let me see what we have next. Oh, I have a really good one. So, if you watched my last video, I think I said that my mom is an artist and we're staying with them right now. She has a lot of stuff, like stuff she needs. But artists just, they have a lot of like tools to do their work. Paint. So this is something called an inside out canvas. I'm not sure what it is. I just saw the name on the package and I was like, ooh, I need to borrow this. So this is a lighter wood. It has like a similar sound to those sticks. But maybe you paint like in here. Maybe that's what inside out means. And then it's like not flush to the wood. I mean, that canvas is nice sounding too, but I gotta rate it on the wood. Maybe let's try something similar with this one. I'll be as gentle as I can. So this one is a square. So this one is a square shape, which gives me more surface area. Let's go back the other way. That was my stomach. Okay, so I think, like, I would really like the sound of this one because it's, like, really dry. There's no, like, stain on it or anything, and it's similar to the paint sticks, but I think the paint sticks they have, like, more depth to them because I can move them and they also just like sound a little like crisper. So I think paint sticks are going to be over this guy. So let's move on to the next wood trigger, shall we? We're on number 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of 4. So this is another thing my mom paints on. If it looks familiar, it's probably because you live in a house with wood cabinets, which I think all people do. I guess you can have linoleum cabinets. These are very common around my house because my mom, she paints farm animals usually, but she paints them in this square area. And then it looks like it's framed, because this will be a whole different color and then this will still be wood. It actually looks pretty cool. You can see on this one she's done birds on the inside. Or she just started drawing them in pencil. She might have just given up because I just took this from under a table, so she might not have wanted to do these birds anymore. Can you tell what I mean by like smoother? Like this is a nice smooth piece because it has a stain on it. It's probably sanded. I mean, all of these are definitely sanded, but this is like very like thick and then thin grit. I think you do thick first and then thin. I'm not much of a wood person or a home improvement person. I usually live in a 750 square foot condo. Maybe I'll talk about that. Let's try tapping first. So growing up, I lived in the suburbs, and the suburbs is fun because you get to live in a smaller community, and also I lived in Texas, so I had a lot of people around and I went to a big school. I don't know where this is going. This is going where, so I grew up in the suburbs and I moved to Alabama. And in Alabama I lived in Mobile, which if you've ever driven through there to like go to Florida, it's a fun place because there's like New Orleans type culture. But as I was saying in my last video, I've become pretty like anti-Southern, mostly from living there, and because there's some people, and it's not the whole community, but there's some people that just don't treat women the way that they should be treated, which is really sad. So, I got an itch. So I came back from Alabama. I was in the same company. I got a new job here, though, in the same company. And I moved to Houston. And I thought for sure I wanted to have, like, a farm with some chickens because I'm vegan, and the dream for vegans is sometimes to have, like, chickens and cows as pets. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just me. But so to my surprise, I wanted to try out living downtown. And Houston is a surprisingly modern downtown. A lot of the luxuries of like anywhere, like a Chicago or a New York or an LA, but unfortunately less public transportation. But either way, there's a lot to do, and we live close to museums and a really famous park for Texas, and like a lot of food, and there's so, like, food from any culture you could ever think of, which is really, like, you know, when you go to a city, like a big city like Chicago, you usually want to, like, try all the different foods. And we have all that. And we've had our condo for... I just lost my train of thought. I do that all the time. So I get used to it. So we've had our condo for a year and a half. And I can never see myself living anywhere else. And I didn't know I was a city girl, but I definitely am. I really like the fast-paced life. And I would like to be like a VP or a vice president of a company one day, and I know that there is more opportunity if you live closer to the city. And why would I want to move to a suburb and drive in traffic every day? I'm basically going opposite of traffic because I go to the plants, which is in a suburb, but it's close to the city. And then, well, I don't work at a plant anymore, but I work in an office near, like, the industry, like oil and gas industry, which is really big here. Oh my gosh, you would be... Okay, let me finish this one and we'll go on to the next shape, and I'll just talk about Houston, some really cool things about it, because it's an underrated city. And I'll try and remember my train of thought. That was talking about the oil and gas industry, because it's crazy. Okay, so this guy, I will rate... I'm going to rate it under the paint stick, so number 2, and over the inside-out canvas thing, backwards canvas, you know, I don't even remember what it's called. I like how smooth this guy is, but the paint stick still, I think, sounded a little crisper. And there was more I could do with them, so they might just win. But this next one coming up is incredible also, because you'll just see in a second. I don't know why this is in my mom's house. You'll see. So this is some type of star. Bigger, 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 bigger than the size of my head. The size of my head. And it looks like maybe it's supposed to be painted, but my mom had it out like just part of the decor. Which, if you've ever lived or stayed with or been in an artist's house, you know there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. But in like a good way. It's fun. So let's try and count the number of points this guy has. It's gonna be hard. Maybe I'll hold it like this. Ooh. Maybe I'll hold it like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, the sides of this thing are just... Okay, wait, I just did this part. I just want to make sure. The sides of this thing are just like asking to give me splinters. The creases, or whatever you would call that. So we have 4 in the middle. We have 1 on top. There was 1 on the bottom. That was easier to count than I thought. So that makes 4 on the sides, 1 on the bottom, and 1 on the top. That would be 6, because 4 plus 2 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to scratch a little bit. I'm going to scratch a little bit from a little farther away, so it's not super loud. And we will talk about Houston, Texas, my home city, where I grew up. And I left to go to college and then work for a few years, and I came back. And living downtown the past year and a half, I have learned so much about the city that I had no idea that I knew existed. The first is what I was going to talk about, oil and gas. So I work in a very industrial environment, which, here, let me do this for a second. Which, honestly, I have mixed feelings about. So I make chemicals that are not harmful to the environment, but we do use a lot of power. And there are green power sources, but there's still not enough. Not enough. And I think in the years to come, and I already know just from being in the industry that they're working on making like cleaner sources of power. But I just wanted to say that, put that out there, that I don't work in like a refinery, but I'm in the local industry and I don't necessarily support carbon emissions, which thankfully my company is doing a lot to help reduce carbon emissions. And not to get political, but the more people you vote for that vote for, like, what's it called? If you vote, me as someone in the chemical industries that has a conscience, in the chemical industry that has a conscience, would like you to vote for someone who, what's it called? Not tax, a credit. Definitely vote for people who support government-funded credits for companies that are working on carbon capture. I don't think it's called credit. You'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, just know that, like, in politics, in the government, some cities, and I think some federal, I don't know. All I know right now is that a lot of the stuff is not, carbon capture isn't a big, like, moneymaker right now, and I would like it to be. So maybe we'll talk about that more. I don't know where I'm going with this, as always. This is where I'm going with it. We're talking about Houston. So there's a place in Houston called the Ship Channel, and it's on the bay by the Gulf of Mexico, where all the boats truck in and out, like oil, mostly oil. Also like just cargo goods and stuff. So if you were to come to Houston and you went over this, well, there's a lot of bridges, the roads are huge, but if you went over the main bridge that goes over the Ship Channel and you saw the amount of refineries and the amount of just plants here, you would think that it was like New York City, the way it's all lit up. It's beautiful, but also scary. But that is like the heart of the city, and it makes us so much money. So for that, I'm thankful. But like I was saying before, there's more ways to do it environmentally conscious that a lot of companies are working on, and I'm also thankful for that. Another thing I love about Houston is the culture. So back, I think it was 2 years ago now, you probably remember from the news, because it was definitely national news, that Houston flooded really bad during Hurricane Harvey. And let me tell you, I wasn't living here, but I came back, and Houston has, 6 million people or something like that. We had to go out and search for, work to do because there were so many volunteers helping. And my mom was still living in this house, and it, makes me tear up to think about this, but there was, people, delivering food around the neighborhood, and we're, checking on them every day, and, people were, drinking wine outside together, and everyone was helping everyone. The wine thing was just a random comment, but everyone was helping everyone, demolish the insides of their houses. You have to, gut everything and then, put drywall up. And I helped with a few houses in, communities that were struggling a little bit. But when I say there was, not just church groups, but, so many different organizations that were helping, I didn't even, what did the Red Cross do? That doesn't matter. I'm sure they did a lot. But the way the community just, but that's how it is here. People are just, willing to talk to you. And willing to help. And when there's a need, usually we figure out a way to, meet the need. Okay, so that was another thing I love about Houston. I promise I'm almost done. We can talk more another day. But let's think of a third thing. So the third thing I love about Houston, and specifically living downtown, is, I was talking before, the culture. So I live in a high-rise, and I know this is true for, most larger cities. But I think, I don't want to, just assume, but I think we're probably only, Americans are probably only a third of the people living there. There is so much rich, cultural influences from so many different places, and I literally learn so much every day from living downtown, and you just don't get that in, I keep saying but you just don't get that in, a suburb in the South, or, the Midwest. Not all the Midwest, but, in a farm country, in the Midwest. Not that there's anything wrong with living somewhere like that. I just really like the richness, and the food, and the conversations I'm able to have, and the different languages I'm able to hear. And I don't know, it is really comforting knowing that, all of the world in certain places are in this together. Something like the COVID stuff that's going on right now. No one in my building would be specifically targeting a certain group of people because maybe they had been to somewhere where there was a hot zone in another country. That doesn't make any sense. I just think we'd be more accepting of, for instance, Chinatown in Houston was having a really hard time getting people to come before COVID was even a thing in the U.S. because people were worried and uneducated about how the virus was transmitted, and also the amount. It's just, there's a difference between being apprehensive of a culture and being apprehensive of a situation. And I just know that where I live downtown, in the area I'm in, there's no apprehension about cultures. Everyone is very open about their culture, and they all like really mesh well together. And I feel like I'm like having a high conversation. I can't smoke because of my job, but I'm going on a bunch of tangents. Let's go ahead and rate these things. I really enjoyed this one. Really enjoyed this one. I think I'm going to put it as number 1. For one, the shape and the amount you can do with it. And I love that I can, like, every part of it makes a different sound. So this is going to be number 1. So in order, this is number 1. The paint sticks were number 2. And maybe I'll show you those. Well, my stomach. That's why you don't have miso soup. An extra large miso soup before you film ASMR. Especially when you're a vegan, because that's a lot of sodium and my stomach is not used to that. So these were my second favorite. And then for my third and fourth, we had the cabinet, which I'm now realizing it's really weird that I just have like a bunch of cabinet doors laying around my house, but maybe we'll do a whole ASMR with the dog. Maybe we'll do a whole ASMR with just different cabinet doors. So the cabinet doors are third, and then the inside out canvas was last, unfortunately. I did like that guy, but the other ones were better, in my opinion. But how about you tell me your rating, and also what else you'd like to hear. I have lots of ideas, and as you can see, I'm worried about the dog. And as you can see, I can talk for forever. So maybe we'll do a silent one soon. Niche. But definitely tell me what your favorite sounds are. I'll probably eat sometime, but that's the one thing that, and I know a lot of ASMR people are like that. You're either like an eating mouth sounds type channel or like physical triggers type channel. And sometimes I'm honestly in the mood for mouth sounds, but I have to be like in a specific mood. And can I explain the type of mood I'm in where I would want to hear mouth sounds? No. Like, I can't pinpoint that, but I know sometimes I want them. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, you might as well subscribe, because I'm sure for this video it's been like 30 minutes at least. Maybe I'll edit it down to 20. But I hope in talking about Texas and the South that I didn't offend anyone. But I think to wrap up, conclusion is, if you're going to have if you have younger children, I think living somewhere where there's a lot of culture, it makes you really accepting of different people, of people that look and act different than you. And it makes you appreciate it because, some cultures are way cooler than American culture, right? Like, what culture do we really have? Hot dogs and football, I guess that's a culture. Yeah, that's all I have for today. Again, subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't, but like I said, if you made it this far for me to tell you to subscribe, then you've listened for a long time. I hope you're doing really well and that you're able to take care of yourself during this time. And I know it's hard, and if there's anything that people can do to help you, I don't know, maybe leave it in the comments. Or if you just want to vent, go ahead and vent, because a lot of us need it. And I just hope 2021 and the end of 2020 is really successful for you. And if you're watching this in 2030, then ignore everything I just said and have a great day. And also, are all cars electric? Is 100% carbon capture happening? Did we stop global warming? That's not really what you want to end on to go to sleep, right? Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for having me in your ears tonight.